21st, Kumogakure Swords. The Kumogakure Swords are special weapons from the Cloud Village. They're most famous for being used by Killer Bee in his wild and acrobatic fighting style. These swords have a cool double-curved blade design, which makes them good for both slashing and throwing with solid accuracy. But when you compare them to other famous swords in Naruto, well, these swords don't have anything special on their own. They rely completely on the user's skill. In Killer Bee's fight against Team Taka, even though he showed off amazing technique, the swords themselves were just regular tools. Yeah, they can carry a bit of chakra and be thrown from a distance. That's about it. This puts them far behind other legendary swords that have complex and powerful abilities. Also, anyone with kenjutsu skills can use them, so they're not really tied to a specific user. Because of all that, low power, simple features, and a small role in the story, the Kumogakure swords end up at the bottom of the ranking. Interesting, right? Here, we don't just watch anime, we live every character, every story, every emotion. Don't miss out on exclusive content and fresh takes you won't find anywhere else. Hit that subscribe button now and become part of the most passionate and creative anime community out there. Thanks for the support. This journey wouldn't be the same without you. Next, 20. Stone Swords. The stone swords are secret weapons from Mount Nuibari. They are gray like stone, with a long handle, a hollow circular hilt, and a chain connecting the handle to the blade. The biggest weakness of the stone swords is their very low attack power. They're not made for heavy damage or cutting. Instead, they're more like wedges that get stuck into the enemy's body. In the fight with Pain, Jiraiya used them to pin down Pain's bodies, but they didn't really do much damage. In fact, in terms of power, they're even weaker than the Kumogakure swords. However, the stone swords do have one very unique feature that makes them special. They boost genjutsu, specifically the demonic illusion, Toad Confrontation Chant. When the swords are stuck into a target, they help keep the illusion going and make it stronger. This gives Jiraiya a smart tactical advantage and shows that these swords were made with a clear purpose in mind. But there's also a big downside. These swords only work well with a specific type of ninja, those trained in Mount Nuibari's genjutsu. That means they're not very flexible or useful for most shinobi. Mainly, only Jiraiya could use them effectively. 19th Kokto is a special katana used by Raido Namiyashi. It was designed mainly for stealth and assassination, with two key features: a matte black surface that doesn't reflect light, and a powerful poison coated on the blade. In the Haiden and Kakuzu arc, Raido used Kokto together with Aoba's Scattering Thousand Crows jutsu to pull off a surprise attack against Kakuzu. Kokto can't really compete with swords made for direct combat, but the poison on its blade gives it dangerous killing potential. Plus, the non-reflective blade makes it perfect for sneaky missions, giving it a clear edge over normal swords when it comes to assassination. 18. White Light Chakra Saber. This is a special tanto passed down in the Hadake family, from Sakumo to Kakashi. It's known for the bright white chakra light it gives off when swung. This glowing effect is what earned Sakumo the nickname White Fang of the Leaf. Actually, the saber mostly depends on the user's skill, not any special built-in ability. It was even destroyed during a fight with Kako, which shows it's not very durable, especially when compared to other legendary swords. The glowing white chakra looks cool, but it doesn't give much of a tactical edge. At most, it might distract an opponent for a moment. 17th, Kurosawa. Kurosawa is the signature sword of Mifune, the legendary samurai from the Land of Iron. Well, actually, it doesn't have any special chakra powers. Its strength completely depends on how skilled the user is with the sword. In his fight against Hanzo, Mifune used Kurosawa to cut off the head of Ibus, that giant salamander. But honestly, that just shows the sword is sharp, not that it has any crazy power. Compared to the White Light Chakra Saber with its glowing chakra, or Kokudo with its poison edge, Kurosawa feels kinda plain. The sword's real value is in its symbolism. It's tied to Mifune's legacy and the samurai culture of the Land of Iron. Later on, Tsubaki Kurogane inherits it through a tournament, showing that Kurosawa still holds meaning among samurai, even if it doesn't pack a punch like other famous weapons. 16. Cleaver Sword. The Cleaver Sword is Darui's signature weapon from Kumogakure. It folds at 3 hinges, making it easy to carry around. Its main strength is the lightning chakra, which boosts damage and can paralyze enemies. In his fight against the Gold and Silver brothers, Darui showed how effective this sword can be when paired with his lightning techniques. The sword can even hold an electric charge after Darui lets go, which shows it's made with top-tier craftsmanship. But let's keep it real, its overall destructive power is just average, and the lightning ability, while useful, is still pretty basic. That's why it can't compete with the really legendary swords at the top of the list. 15. Weaknessless Soaring Short Swords. The Weaknessless Soaring Short Swords are a pair of twin Gerion swords from the Takumi village, used by Hoki in a Naruto anime filler arc. They can control wind freely, and even let the user fly by creating mini tornadoes. The two blades can also combine into one stronger sword when needed. Pretty wild. The big plus here is that they save chakra when using wind release techniques. That means longer fight time without draining energy. The ability to fly and control the air gives the user a ton of movement options during battle. Compared to the Cleaver Sword at number 17, these swords offer way more tactical flexibility thanks to all the airbending and flight stuff, but they don't hit that hard. Their destructive power is just okay, not amazing. Plus, since they only showed up in a filler arc, they don't really impact the main story or have the legendary clout like other top-tier weapons. 14. Sasuke's Kusanagi. Sasuke's Sword of Kusanagi is his go-to chokuto throughout Naruto Part 2. Even though it shares the same name as Orochimaru's sword, it doesn't have any crazy supernatural powers. Still, it's a solid weapon thanks to its sharp blade and how well it works with lightning chakra. That makes the blade vibrate at high speed, helping it cut through tough stuff and even paralyze enemies. We saw how deadly it was during his fight with Deidara. Quick, precise, and brutal. But yeah, it's not perfect. The sword's power mostly comes from the lightning chakra, and it doesn't have any other special abilities. Plus, it's not super durable. Yeah, but we have to say Sasuke's sword hits harder and has way more impact in the main story. In the end, the Sword of Kusanagi ranks high, mostly because of how perfectly it fits Sasuke's combat style. It might not be magic, but it's got serious battle cred and helped deliver some of the dopest fights in Naruto. 13th. Gerion Sword. The Gerion Sword is wild thanks to its 3 blades and a steel wire that lets the user control it from a distance. It can even transform into a chakra dragon and connect with the infinite armor, turning into crazy tentacle-like blades. Kankuro even said the way it moves is like a puppet jutsu, which shows how clever the design is. Power-wise, it's got decent destruction, but its real strength is flexibility. It can strike from weird angles and change direction mid-fight, giving the user a big tactical edge. Compared to Sasuke's Sword of Kusanagi, this thing is way more complex and unpredictable in battle. But it relies on the infinite armor, and since it only shows up in a filler arc, its fame takes a hit. Hoki and Saime showed that it works well in combat, but because it's not part of the main story, the Gerion Sword never hits legendary status. 12th. Fire Sword. The Fire Sword stands out for its strong fire powers and its cool weapon summoning ability. It can shoot out a big burst of flames to burn enemies, and it even has a green gem at the end that sends out light signals. The wild part? It can summon other weapons like the Infinite Armor, Gerion Sword, and Weaknessless Soaring Short Swords. In terms of raw firepower, it's stronger than the Gerion Sword because of that spreading fire effect and its direct attack strength. Compared to Sasuke's Sword of Kusanagi, it's got more going on with multiple uses and extra fire-based strategy. But here's the downside. We don't really see it in action much. Since it only shows up in a filler arc about Takumi Village, it never gets the spotlight it deserves. 11th. Orochimaru Kusanagi. This sword is legendary and seriously unique. Orochimaru can summon it straight out of a giant snake's mouth, either handle first to grab or blade first to stab you by surprise. The sword can stretch super far and cut through almost anything, which gives it a big edge in battle. In the fight against the 3rd Hokage, it showed off how crazy sharp it is. Compared to the fire sword, this one's more like a sniper than a flamethrower. The biggest flex? That legendary status. The way it's summoned from a snake and how it attacks from unexpected angles makes it perfect for Orochimaru's sneaky, creepy fighting style. But it's kinda stuck with Orochimaru. Once he got sealed by the sword of Totka, Kusanagi went down with him. Still, this sword played a huge role in the story and had some big fight moments. 10. Shabuki. Shabuki is one of the legendary 7 swords of the mist. This thing has a super cool design. One side is a sharp blade, the other is packed with explosive tags. It basically turns every slash into a mini explosion, and it reloads automatically after every boom. Yeah, it's like swinging a sword-shaped bomb launcher. In the 4th Great Ninja War, Jinpachi Munashi showed how wild this sword can get. The explosions were crazy powerful, enough to keep entire groups of enemies running for cover. But the blast radius is huge, and if you're not careful, you might blow yourself up too. So this sword ain't for amateurs. You need solid sword skills and real combat smarts to use it right. Compared to swords like Sasuke's Kusanagi or the Fire Sword, Shabuki brings way more raw destruction to the table. But the risk of self-damage holds it back from the top 10. It's powerful, but also dangerous if you mess up. 9th, Kabuto. It's one of the most unique and specialized weapons in Naruto. This beast is a combo of a big axe and a huge hammer, tied together with a leather strap. You swing the axe to cut, then slam the hammer to force it through anything, like a giant wedge. It's literally made to break any defense, no matter how tough. Turtle-style defenders? Yeah, they're in trouble. Jin and Akabino flexed this weapon hard during the 4th Great Ninja War. It's not flashy or magical, it's just pure brute force. In the anime, the hammer even sends out shockwaves, making it hit even harder. Now, compared to Shabuki, Kabuto is safer. You're not going to blow yourself up using it. That said, it's got a couple downsides. You need to be really strong to use it, and it's kinda one trick. If your enemy doesn't rely on heavy defense, the sword's less useful. 8. Nuibari. Nuibari is known as the sewing needle sword, and honestly, it looks exactly like a giant needle. Thin, long, sharp, and it comes with a super thin wire threaded through the handle. Straight up one of the most original weapons in Naruto. Now, this sword isn't about raw destruction, like blowing stuff up or smashing things. Nah, its real power is all about strategy and crowd control. The dude who wielded it during the 4th Great Ninja War used it to sew through bodies, literally. He'd stab through multiple enemies, then use the wire to tie them together like they were rag dolls. Brutal, but efficient. In the anime, that wire can even block chakra and stop jutsu, which makes Nuibari great for both attack and defense. Nuibari takes serious skill to use right. You've got to be precise and quick, and it doesn't have much raw power on its own. So while it's crazy smart as a weapon, it's not the type to blow up the battlefield. 7. Sword of the Thunder God. The Sword of the Thunder God is a legendary blade once wielded by Tobirama Senju, the 2nd Hokage. Later, it ended up in the hands of Aoi Rokusho, but make no mistake, this sword was built different. Its biggest flex? It can cut through chakra-based attacks, something most other weapons can't even touch. When Aoi used it to slice through Sasuke's Chidori and Naruto's Rasengan, yeah, that was the moment everyone went, okay, this sword ain't normal. This blade can also do more than just slice. It creates electric barriers, shoots lightning attacks from range, and even paralyzes enemies with raw electricity. It's a full-on storm in sword form. But here's the tricky part. To unlock its full power, you need a special scroll and some serious lightning release knowledge. Aoi didn't have the scroll, so he kind of fumbled the bag and couldn't use the sword properly. 6th Hiramekare. This is one of the most versatile weapons in all of Naruto. Chojuro, who later becomes the 6th Mizukage, showed just how deadly this sword can be. Its biggest strength? Flexibility. Need to smash something? Boom, giant hammer mode. Want to slash from afar? It stretches into a long blade, dealing with a fast enemy. It fires sharp chakra spikes that can pin them down. Want some dual-wield swag? It splits into 2 smaller swords. Man, this sword is like the ninja version of a multi-tool, but it's not all perfect. The sword's full power depends on how much chakra the user can pump into it. If you've got tons of chakra, you're unstoppable. If not, well, it's just a really fancy stick. Why is it ranked higher than the Sword of the Thunder God? because Hiramekare can handle more situations. It's not locked into one type of damage like lightning, it can adapt to whatever's going on in the fight. It's also part of the main story, not just filler, and has a big legacy thanks to the Mist's legendary swordsman. 5. Kubikiri Bo. This is one of the most iconic swords in Naruto. It's big, it's deadly, and it's got a wild ability that puts it above most basic blades. The sword's biggest flex? Raw physical power. It's massive and sharp enough to slice through trees, stone, and enemies like butter. Zabuza showed this off back in the Land of Waves arc, going toe-to-toe with Kakashi. And the blade can heal itself. If it gets chipped or broken, no worries. It literally repairs itself by absorbing iron from the blood of whoever it cuts. It's like a vampire sword, bro. As long as it's in a fight, it keeps regenerating. It works best for strong ninjas like Zabuza and Suigetsu, people who can handle its heavy weight. If you're not ripped or don't have the stamina, this sword's gonna be more of a burden than a weapon. So, when it comes to pure destruction and durability, Kubikiri Bo crushes swords like Nuibari, Kabuto, or even Hiramekare. The auto-repair ability alone gives it a huge edge in long battles. And let's not forget the story factor. This sword made its debut in Naruto's very first arc and instantly became legendary thanks to Zabuza's cold-blooded energy. Later, Suigetsu and Mangetsu kept its legacy alive during the Fourth Great Ninja War. Fourth, Kiba is one of the coolest and most dangerous swords in the Naruto world. They've earned the nickname Thunder Swords for a reason. They control lightning chakra like no other weapon can. Instead of just slicing with brute strength, Kiba uses high-frequency lightning chakra to cut through almost anything. We saw Raiga do this. He was slicing through stone like it was paper. That's some Zeus-level stuff right there. The blades can work together or separately, and some versions even let you control them remotely. They boost your lightning attacks without needing hand signs, so you can spam jutsu faster and longer without draining too much chakra. Perfect for lightning-style users like Raiga, but you don't need to be a genius to use them. If you know basic lightning release, you're already on your way to mastering them. 3. Tamahada. Tamahada is easily the scariest sword from the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist. What makes it crazy? It's alive. Yeah, like a real living creature that chooses its wielder. And it picked Kisame because the dude had insane chakra levels. This sword isn't just for slicing, it's a chakra-eating monster. When it hits someone, it tears the skin with its sharp scale-like surface. When Kisame fused with the sword, his power jumped so high, he could go toe-to-toe with a Jinchuriki like Bee. But wait, there's more. It can sense chakra in a wide area, making it a perfect tracking weapon. It can even heal its user by giving them the chakra it stole. And in the anime, it spreads chakra mist through wounds to suck up even more chakra over time. So, crazy destructive power, unique abilities, smart compatibility with strong users. So, top 3. 2. Sword of Totka. The Sword of Totka is no regular sword. It's basically a spiritual version of the legendary Kusanagi sword. But with a wild twist, it's made of red-orange liquid stored in a sake bottle when not in use. Only Itachi Uchiha can summon and use it through his Susanoo, which is powered by the main Geikyo Sharingan. So what's the big deal? This sword doesn't just cut stuff, it seals enemies instantly. If it stabs you, boom, you're trapped forever in a genjutsu world called the Drunken Dream, locked inside that sack bottle. That's why Orochimaru, one of the most powerful ninjas ever, spent years trying to find this sword, and still got wrecked by it. This sword is about instant victory. No warm-up, no waiting. If the blade touches you, you're done. That's why even Black Zetsu said Itachi's combo of the Totsuka blade plus Yada mirror made his Susanoo literally unbeatable. One defends, one seals. Perfect team up. Yeah, but only Itachi can use it, because it's part of his Susanoo, and it disappears when he dies. That makes it a one-man weapon with no hand-me-down option. That's why, even though it's crazy strong, it didn't make it to number 1. It's powerful, but also limited in who can use it and how often. Sword of Nunoboko. The Sword of Nunoboko stands at the top of all weapons in the Naruto world, not just because of raw power, but because of its godly origin. This massive spiral-shaped sword was created from truth-seeking orbs, which are made from all 5 basic chakra natures combined with yin-yang release. The first person to ever use this sword was Hagoromo Otsutsuki. According to the lore, he used the sword to create the world. Yeah, this sword literally symbolizes the power to shape reality itself. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Obito Uchiha, in his 10 Tails Jinchuriki form, summoned the sword again, but this time, he wanted to destroy the current world and rebuild it his own way. So instead of creation, the sword became a weapon of destruction. That duality, being used for both creation and destruction, shows just how insanely powerful this sword really is. Compared to the Sword of Totka, which ranks number 2, this one totally dominates. Totka can seal people instantly, sure, but Nunoboko, it can wipe out entire worlds. It's a whole different kind of weapon. One is for tactics, the other is for world-shaping strategies. So, number 1, no debate. Alright, that's it for today, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.